All right. Welcome to Run Good Lifestyle. And I am so blessed and honored to have a gentleman on that I talked to probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I first took the leap of purchasing InHarmony product, the lounge, uh, sound lounge. And we'll discuss a little bit, but it was a pretty big leap. But first, want to introduce the CEO and co-founder of InHarmony Products. I think that's right. And Mr. Craig Goldberg. So welcome, Craig, and thanks so much for joining us.
Alan, it's a complete pleasure and an honor to be here, and I appreciate you having me. I appreciate the leap of faith you took back in May of 2022.
Is that when it was? Okay. Oh, it seems like it was longer. Okay. Yeah.
That's a long time. It's all good.
Yeah.
Time goes by like.
Yeah,
it
does. It really does. But first, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, and it's an honor to hear your story. And I want to start with that. So, give me your background and how you got involved with this, Craig.
So it's really interesting, as my business partner just called. He never seems to check my calendar or know that I'm recording live and doing stuff live. But anyhow, his timing is always perfect. So look, I've known my business partner for 15 years, 16 years. I think I met him in 2011, 2012, maybe something like that. Anyway, my wife and I at the time were traveling around the country teaching, training, and educating on the efficacy of essential oils. And actually, when we met, I was running a managerial accounting firm. I was, working 9 to 5. I was helping to build a company in San Diego, California. And my wife and I, we were traveling, and I didn't realize quite how stressed and anxious I actually was. I didn't realize quite, and again, a lot happens in hindsight, right? You start to realize later in life, when you look back on things, how you were feeling, what you were doing. And I'd just fallen in love with the acoustic instruments that create sound and frequency, sound bath instruments, the gong, the didgeridoo, the bowls, the Tibetan bowls, the crystal bowls. And I didn't know what it was about these particular devices or the beautiful music that they made, but I knew I loved it. And I knew it made me feel balanced, relaxed, grounded, focused, gave me energy. It allowed myself to revive and relax in a way that I never really knew or understood. I just knew I loved it, right? And when I met my business partner, Dominic, he had just created or recreated, because we didn't invent the technology. The technology's been around for 55 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
certainly we've known for decades, if not millennia, that music is medicine, right? And I got on my first Sound Lounge experience in November of 2016. And I knew from the get-go and from the very first beat that this was something that I was going to love, something that I needed to share with people. And I begin to dive into the science that backs up what we do, which is called Vibroacoustic Therapy, vibration, acoustic sound. So we're talking about sound and vibration and its impact on our physiology. And there's a science that goes back 55 years that focuses on understanding these different frequencies, predominantly between 30 hertz and 120 hertz. And the science studies your physiology and the impact that these frequency has on your neurology, your anatomy, your physiology. And I became enamored with it. And fast forward now 10 plus years, or just coming up on 10 years here in November, InHarmony is a leader in the industry. We're a vertically integrated manufacturer of what we call relaxation furniture. And I've been recording podcasts, teaching, training, educating, and showing people the power of sound and vibration in an ability to help manage the nervous system and really to help people to feel the depth of their relaxation practice. For years I thought, cuddling on the couch with my wife and watching a show or a movie was relaxation. And that's a form of relaxation, but to truly appreciate the depth of a relaxed life and a relaxed lifestyle is to really understand the power of sound and vibration. And once you experience that rejuvenative and regenerative relaxation state, you start to realize and pick up on how important that process is, whether that's sleep or meditation, mindfulness, call it whatever you will. It's an important process that we have to go through as human beings.
Right.
We need to relax. It's an important part of our daily and regular life cycle. And what I realized very quickly, and especially obviously now knowing in hindsight what I know, the importance of relaxation in optimal human performance is second to none. It is the single most important thing that we can do. And fortunately or unfortunately, the world around us is so stimulating. There is an endless to-do list that we all have.
It's getting worse and worse. I mean,
right? I feel the same exact way, right? Like there's just no possible way that I'm going to get all this done in one day, let alone 1 week or a month. And by the way, when I check something off the box, off the list, 3 more things come onto that list. That I need to get done, right? It's just the beauty of this society that we've co-created together. So thank you, and you're welcome. And when you're relaxed, there's nothing that the world can throw at you that's going to be a hook or throw you into a tailspin. And it's the depth of that relaxation and the strength of that relaxation that helps you to optimally perform and be at your best. And I'm on a mission. Yeah, I'm on a mission to teach people about the power of sound and vibration. I'm honored that you took that dive. I'm honored that you found us, that something in what we were sharing to you said, I need this, and you gave it a try. And then once you try it, you know, it's pretty much an easy decision from there, once you feel the depth of that relaxation. So I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to talk about sound, vibration, its impact on our physiology, neurology, anatomy, our day-to-day, and to show people the power of relaxation and what they can do in a short period of time.
Yeah. You know, let me give you a little background of why I chose you guys, or I was looking for something like you were offering. I played poker. I don't consider myself a professionalist. I mean, I own and manage Wentz Insurance Agency, and that's my bread and butter, but poker is my passion, and I travel. And what was really haunting me was my sleep. And that's why I was diving into something, because when we play poker as poker professionals or poker enthusiasts, is what I call myself, sleep is of the essence. We'll be sometimes in poker tournaments for 13, 15 hours at a time with breaks, but you're playing poker all that time. And you could be playing at 1, 2 in the morning, and you have to try to get sleep and be at the next day for, your day 2, and it's 11 and you're all jacked up and can't sleep. But so I was looking for better ways to sleep, bottom line. And speaking of that relaxation, I could not get relaxed. And when I first got into this vibroacoustic sound lounge, I thought, maybe it's gimmicky, maybe it's something that, it may help, but I won't see the benefits that I've found. And first thing I do in the morning, I have a morning routine, and part of that routine, except for when I'm on a road, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that later. When I'm at home, one of my routines is to do 22 minutes on the sound lounge with your playlist, which is amazing, by the way. I love it. I can change it up, and I get a different vibe every time, and I really like it. So, but that's why I did that. And I try to explain this to my fellow poker players. And of course they are, they're know-it-alls. Number one, they know everything. And they seem to think that it's a gimmick, and I don't know how to get that across to them, and I haven't found any real hard research, and I'd like
I can share a ton.
Yeah, I would like for you to dive a little bit into the research, because that bottom line is people first of all, there's a huge market for this, and not just in wellness in general, but this is a piece of the puzzle for me. It's not a fix all everything. It's just a part of the piece that I've used and found great happiness in doing so. And give me some research that you've done. I think I know what you're going to say, but
well, Alan, if it's okay, let me share. I just put a share screen in the bottom of our interface. Yeah, there you go. So this is our website. I am InHarmony.com, and this is the science tab right at the top of our site, and it talks about Dr. Francisco Cedral and what we're doing with the scientific approach with this company, Scientific Consulting. So I believe in third-party verified science and research. And again, watch some of these videos, take a look at it, and I welcome you to do that too.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I'm glad you shared.
Science and research is really important to me. Really, really important to me. It's one thing to have the anecdotal, and I'll share a little bit more as I kind of go through this, but we've got a lot of video. We do a ton of content. In fact, this afternoon I'm shooting 4 separate webinars on the topic of the research that we got from these science and research days, which was back in February. It's now March when we're recording this. We're live, actually. So everybody knows the date. And we had 2 powerful days. So today I'm actually going through the science and research that we got, the results that we got from, we had about 30 people come through my house here with some pretty high-tech equipment. We're going to go through the equipment. We're going to talk about that. These preliminary research results is actually from what we learned in the lab, and various case studies that we produced in showing exactly what you can expect to see in our with our products. And
that's awesome.
I mean, it's really straight. I mean, it's staggering actually what we learned and what we saw. A 26% reduction in anxiety, a 41% reduction in stress, a 47% reduction in fatigue, a 35% reduction in brain fog. I mean, when you start to look at the actual science and research, this is from one 11-minute session on the InHarmony Sound Lounge. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So a 39% increase in relaxation, a 38% increase in mental clarity, a 53% increase in energy, and a 33% increase in overall well-being. So when you start to look at focus, concentration, mood, your emotional state, your physical comfort, all of the markers increase or decrease as they should, and as you would want that to happen. So really powerful research. We are running what we're calling the world's largest vibroacoustic study done to date. I welcome you to participate in this. It's for anybody that has our technology. It's a simple pre and post session survey. You get a well-being score, and we're collecting this data on a regular basis and analyzing this data on a regular basis. It is the largest vibroacoustic study done to date. Now, when you look at the science and research that we've completed, that's these 4 papers that we've released, including a literary review we went through 1,400 studies on vibroacoustic therapy. 37 of them in our eyes were validated, and we reviewed those and submitted those for review. And then there's a ton of other science and research. Again, the science goes back 55 years. So these are different papers that were written, different articles that were written about vibroacoustic therapy and our experience.
That's awesome. I'm glad you shared this, because this is exactly what I've been looking for. Is this is on your website?
This is on our website. I am InHarmony.com underneath the science tab, and we update this regularly. So these 4 webinars that we're about to record today are going to go up on our website. They're going to go on our YouTube channel. We're going to clip them. We also use StreamYard. We're going to generate those clips, and we're going to get that going. So this is absolutely something that we are going to continue to proliferate. And this is the beginning. So as you go back to the top of that science and research page, you'll see where we talk about our scientific approach. And that actually outlines the entire, call it 3-4 year process that we're about 1.5 years into, that gets us to peer-reviewed science and research. InHarmony is the only, that I know of, we are the only FDA registered manufacturer of a Class 1 medical device for vibroacoustic therapy.
Wow,
the only
amazing.
One as of
Congratulations.
Right.
That's a big honor. That's
I
awesome.
appreciate that. Yeah, look, it's all part of this process that we're going through, and it starts with registration, and then it moves towards peer-reviewed, placebo-controlled scientific research. And then from there, we can submit that to the FDA, and we can actually get that reviewed, and we can actually get that approved. So this is something that is really important to me, not just for InHarmony, but for the entire industry.
Right.
And you said something that I think is really important that I want to dive into, and that was sleep. So sleep and meditation is nothing more than a conscious perception of a slower brainwave state. That's worth saying again. Sleep and meditation is nothing more than a conscious perception of a slower brainwave state. So when you're sleeping, your brain isn't sleeping. It's doing all sorts of different things, right? You're moving in and out of these different brainwave states, which is giving a trigger to your body, telling it to do different things. And when you're calm and relaxed, your body has a different set of priorities, which allow it to take care of itself, to regenerate itself, to rejuvenate itself, and to go through this regular daily checklist of maintaining itself. By contrast, when you're in fight or flight, or when you're in survival mode, and when you call it survival mode, it rings a little louder for me. But when you're in survival mode, you're obviously not in rest and digest mode. You're the opposite of that. You're in that sympathetic nervous system response, that survival mode, that fight or flight. Your body has a different set of priorities. It's in survival mode. It wants to maintain the vessel in the most intense way, in the most short-term way. Therefore, it's not maintaining itself. It's not taking care of itself like it normally would, because it's all hands on deck for this emergency situation to protect the vessel and to keep you alive. And that's fine if it's for a couple hours in the afternoon, but it's detrimental to your health, and you start to develop these chronic ailments when it's day after day, week after week, month after month, in that chronic fatigue and anxiety state. And what our technology does in a very profound way, in a very passive way, is it kicks in the chemical cascades associated with the parasympathetic nervous system response. All of that is to say that we re-regulate your nervous system, that we get your nervous system to stay in that rest and digest state longer so that it can maintain itself and take care of itself, which is why when you get a great night's sleep, you feel like $1 million, and there's nothing that poker table or that golf course behind you or that life can throw at you that's going to throw you for a tailspin. But when you don't get enough sleep, you don't get enough rest, it feels like everywhere you turn is an issue that you can't handle.
Right. There's one thing you let me interrupt for a second. I apologize. One thing you stated about that I don't know if I read or I heard, you stated that if you can spend so many minutes in a theta state, which that meditative state that you can get into, I find it super hard to get there, but with your sound lounge, I get there more often than any other way I do. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said something like 20 minutes in that theta state is similar to getting 4 hours of actual sleep. That's
right? That's accurate. Yeah, 20 minutes in theta is equivalent to about 4 hours of sleep. Now, here's why. So humans sleep in what we call sleep cycles, and they're typically 90 minutes long. So from the start of the sleep cycle to the end of the sleep cycle is 90 minutes. And as you're starting at awake, you drift down through stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 of that sleep cycle. And this is all documented science on sleep. This isn't anything that InHarmony has pressed forward. However, when you're moving through stage 1, 2, 3, 4, your brain and your body are preparing itself for rest. And you're moving through these sleep cycles or these stages of sleep. And your body is turning things off. It's winding things down. It's turning off the beta brainwave in the brain and moving into alpha, theta, and then down into delta. And we need to get into that alpha, theta, delta brainwave sequence so that the body knows that it can take care of itself, that it can rejuvenate itself. And when we're stuck in beta, eyes open, processing the world around us, the brain is never working through those lower and slower brainwave states. It's not giving the body the cue to maintain itself. It's keeping it focused on whatever it is that you're ruminating on, focused on, and thinking about. And and the world around us, as you said, is getting more and more stimulating. It's getting more and more amped up. It's getting more and more of a higher and a higher vibration. This is actually where I think EMFs do come into the equation. I'm not a big EMFs are killing the world. I wear my Apple Watch. I use my AirPods. I'm not. That's just not my thing. I've looked at the science. I think there's some validity to the science, but where I do think there's validity for the science is that the body, your human body, is an antenna. You are constantly coming into and out of what's called harmonic resonance with the frequencies that you're presented with. Any frequencies, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi included. And when there's a higher frequency that is vibrating around you, your body wants to come into and harmonize with that frequency. We're pattern recognition beings. We constantly look for these different patterns, and then we are attracted to them, and then we fall into them through this process called harmonic resonance, meaning you vibrate at the same frequencies that you're presented with. And when you look at megahertz and gigahertz and all of these different frequencies, even electricity that's flowing through the walls of your house and your home, your vibration is taken up, not down. And when we're sleeping and resting, we want to be taken down into an alpha brainwave state is measured between 12 and down to 8 hertz. A theta brainwave state is 8 hertz down to about 4 hertz. A delta brainwave state, 4 hertz down to about a half a hertz. And this is where our technology is so powerful, because it helps to calm and relax the nervous system. When you listen to music, your entire brain becomes harmonized into a theta brainwave state. And to your point before, as we need to move in and out of these different brainwave states, as we're going in and out of this sleep cycle, when you get down to the bottom of stage 4, that's the slowest brainwave state, as your body is going into that theta brainwave state to prepare itself for stage 5 of sleep, which is that deep restorative REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Your eyes are moving all over the place as we're dreaming. Your body has already turned off your senses, because we don't want to be woken up and disturbed from our sleep. Your body has turned off your motor skills, because your brain can't actually tell the difference between a dream or this reality, or a visualization for that matter, which is why visualization practice is so powerful.
So when you talk about that brings up another topic. And again, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have so many things going through my brain right now, overstimulated here with this information, because it is such good information. But manifestation. Yes, when you're trying to manifest stuff, I think it's been proven that your brain can't tell if you're actually doing the activity or if you're trying to manifest the activity. So when you can get yourself into these different, these lower frequencies, the feeling of the manifestation, I can't say that, the thing you're trying to manifest.
Manifestation or visualization for that matter. So look, manifestation is simply getting after what you want.
Right.
It's
the feeling is more important than the actual thinking. I don't know how to
I'll tell you a great story. If you're let's make it relative to golf, because there's a beautiful golf course sitting behind you. Right?
That's Bandon Dunes. I was just there.
Where's that?
Bandon Dunes out in Oregon. It's beautiful, unbelievable.
Right. All right, so Bandon Dunes. So you want to play Bandon Dunes? You're a kid, right? Your dream is to play Bandon Dunes. There's a lot of power in closing your eyes and visualizing yourself playing Bandon Dunes. Who are you playing with? What are the smells? What do you hear? What's the view look like, which is pretty spectacular, right? What do you order from the cart when it comes around? Who are you playing with? Is there money on the line? Is this a friendly game, or are you playing in a tournament? Are you walking, or do you have a cart? Does that cart make noise? Like, does it have a squeak to it, right? Like, I mean, the details of really what you're hearing, feeling, seeing, and experiencing, smelling. Your brain, which is how you perceive the world around you, is sitting in a dark hall that is protected by your skull. Except for your eyes, there's no light that's going into your brain. It's just sitting in a dark hole, and it's simply processing. It's a difficult concept, but this is literally how it works. Your brain is just processing electrical signals from your 5 senses, and putting together, literally in your mind's eye, what you're seeing, feeling, and experiencing around you. What you're seeing right now, what every single person who's watching this video is seeing right now is not actually happening in front of them. I know it looks like it is, and you can touch it, and like, you know, like it looks like this is happening, but what's actually happening is a few milliseconds after what you're actually seeing. So what you're actually seeing is a projection, a prediction from your mind of what you're actually seeing, because it takes a few milliseconds for your brain to process the light that's coming into your eye to get into your brain to actually create what's happening. So when you reach out to touch a doorknob, your brain is actually giving you a real-time best guess of where that doorknob is going to be based on your experience and based on, you know, what you've done, which is why toddlers have such a hard time walking and seeing things and doing things. And, you know, they're reaching out because they're still learning that what's actually happening is a few milliseconds behind what you're doing, just from the processing time that it takes for the supercomputer that is your brain to process sight and what's around you. This goes for pilots, it goes for driving a car, it goes for sports and athletics. That's why hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in sports, or hitting a golf ball, because your eyes are actually a few milliseconds behind that pitch, which is already gone. So, to go back to the question, which is why visualization works and why your brain can't tell the difference between a dream state, this reality, or a visualization, is because to your brain, it's all electrons, it's all electrical signals, it's all a prediction of what's happening. So when you close your eyes and you visualize, you're painting in your mind's eye what the perception of that reality will feel like. And because you're doing that, your subconscious mind is then being programmed. I was at a dinner last night, and we talked a lot about the nervous system. But interestingly enough, I was not on the panel, I was in the audience, but the panel was talking a lot about the nervous system. It was talking about this negative self-talk that we all have in our head that's constantly running, and that stems from your ego. It stems from your body's ability to keep you alive. And we all have this. And we all have this nervous system that is constantly looking for things that go well so that we can do more of it, and things that are dangerous or that could possibly take our lives to protect ourselves. And it keeps us away from things that will kill us and drifting towards things that are pleasurable. And we all have this mammalian brain that focuses on these two main things. And if you allow your brain to focus on what will kill you, what do you find? You always find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for that, that's what you're going to find. How treacherous the world is, how dangerous the world is, how paranoid you could be that the world is out to get you and that this is difficult and hard. Well, the complete antithesis of paranoia is pronoia. And if you push away the bad and you focus on the good, you are retraining your brain to look for the good. There's good in every situation. We hear this all the time, right? Look for the good. There's good in every situation. That is pronoia. And that's a word you can look up. It's in Webster's dictionary, pronoia. It's the opposite of paranoia. And it is the world is unfolding for me. That everything that happens to me is happening for a reason. This is where I'm supposed to be because this is what is happening right now. This too shall pass. I will get through this and I will be stronger because of it. Stress by itself is actually not a bad thing. We need stress in the world. We need stress in our world. Stress actually makes you stronger. It allows you to overcome, grow, and come back more powerful than ever. So stress isn't necessarily the enemy, but we want to shorten the response we have to a stressful situation, and we want to make sure we squash that and move forward. Anxiety, it can be the problem, especially when it's so detrimental, but a little bit of anxiety, it's going to kick in cortisol. It's going to keep you hyper-focused. It's going to allow you to identify what the issue at hand is so that you can tackle it and move on. And it's this cycle of moving in and out of that. Sorry, I know this is all an answer to a question about theta, but as you're moving in and out of these different,
keep it up.
As you're moving in and out of these different brainwave states, your brain through various sleep cycles, and we've heard you should sleep, 7 to 9 hours. All that is 5 or 6 sleep cycles together on end. 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, right? 90 minutes is an hour and a half, is 3 hours, is 4.5 hours, is 6 hours, is 7.5 hours. It's 5 sleep cycles. If you can get a 6 sleep cycle in and get to 9 hours, that's ideal. And if you have a sleep deficit, meaning you haven't had enough nights of 6 sleep cycles, you can get a 7th or an 8th sleep cycle in there too and go 9 or 10 hours. And we've all had those mornings where we wake up, we look at the alarm clock, we're like, oh man, have I been sleeping for 10 hours? Yeah, it's because you needed it, because you were playing poker 15 hours a day, not sleeping as great as you were. So
Right.
anyhow,
So, I have invested in a WOLP, the thing that measures your sleep and your
yeah,
activity and all
yeah,
that.
sure.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how I can, and I don't know if you know the answer to this or if you have any insight into it, but how can I use that apparatus to measure these theta? Because it gives you REM sleep, but when I'm doing my meditation, it doesn't give me
So there
that
is a
type
way
of
that you
feedback.
can tell the Whoop that you're meditating. There are ways that you can activate. I wore a Whoop for a little while, and I've never worn an Aura ring. I actually have a Bond ring coming pretty soon, which I'm pretty excited about. Which will give me some new. It's one of these newer devices with some new technology in it. It's driven by your body heat, so you never have to charge it. It's
Oh,
one of the
okay.
things I really disliked about the Whoop, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's the WOLP. I just got it. I'm literally like
So it will
3
learn your
weeks in.
practice and your process. And if you have a morning routine, it eventually will start to trigger and reference the slower brainwave state. It just needs to learn your process
Okay,
and your
so
routine.
give it some time.
But it will absolutely learn your routine, and you will absolutely see an impact in your HRV, heart rate variability, and you will see a difference in your day. So look, data's great, and the Whoop is awesome, and Aura Ring is great, and Bond Ring, and all these different things that we can do for biometrics is wonderful. I happen to have, this is a really powerful device called the Biotechna, which looks like a pulse oximeter, but this is what we were doing pre and post sessions with. It's a really powerful HRV that extrapolates a lot of data, a lot more data than you would get from the Whoop or an Aura Ring. But Whoop and
Really?
Aura is great, and it's a great start. Once it starts to learn your routine, what you'll notice is when you're traveling and you're not on your sound lounge every day, or you're not starting your day like that, your HRV for that day will be different. Your sleep for that night will be different. And that's when you start to see the nuances of what's happening. Now, you asked the question, I want to answer it. You can absolutely tell the Whoop app that you're about to meditate and that it can log that particular experience. It'll tell you when you've taken a nap. It'll tell you when your brainwave state dropped for a particular, right? Like you're on a plane and it increases and then it drops again, right? So you'll
I've
start
tried to do that on I put in the meditation, and it's not giving me the feedback that I want. And I think it's operator error. I'm gonna have to maybe
I don't know,
figure
but there
it
is a
out.
way that you can check that out. And what you will see, because I saw it, is the days where I'm not on the sound lounge, when I'm not around my tech, when I'm not doing my mindfulness practice, when I'm not getting my feet in the ground or exposure to sunlight, when I'm not getting a good night's sleep. That's one of the reasons why I stopped wearing it, actually. I have, I talk about her all the time. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I have an amazing wife. I have a beautiful home. I have desert toys. I have RVs. I go camping. I've got a very full life, in addition to the dedication that I have to this InHarmony family and growing this particular brand and industry. I take a lot of time for myself, and I work a lot of time as well. But when my daughter climbs into bed, which she didn't last night, and I slept 7.5 straight hours last night. But there are nights where my daughter climbs into bed and she's kicking me or pushing me, or before she climbed into my bed and she would cry in the middle of the night, and I'd get up in the middle of the night to take care of her. I know I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. Like,
You don't need it.
I don't need a Whoop. I don't need a Whoop to tell me I didn't get a good night's sleep last night.
Right. I feel the same way about that.
Right. But so here's where it's really powerful. It's really powerful in the correlation of data looking back over time. Look, it's the same way that I look at my business and I look at what we're doing within InHarmony. We invest a lot of money into social media marketing. You can look at your ROAS over a 1 or 7 day window, but that's not really what you want to look at your return on ad spend on. You want to look at it over the last 90 days, the last 6 months, the last 9 months, the last 12 months. And because it's a long-term play, it's not a short-term play.
Correct.
I look at sleep as the same way. I look at sleep as a long-term play. You can go for a couple nights where you're not getting a great night's sleep, or you're not sleeping as long as you'd like to, or you were traveling and you're not in your bed with your environment, your sleep settings. That's fine. But you want to make sure that after not too long, right, a couple nights, that you're getting caught up and that you're reviving that sleep deficit And a great way to do that is with the power of sound and vibration in a sound lounge session. I'll give you one more story. Last night I was talking, I left dinner around 8 o'clock and I still felt kind of good. And Mike and Nick, who are hosting the dinner along with David Meltzer, they're on Mike and Nick are on his team. He says, where are you going? I go, I'm going home. And he goes, lay down with the kids. Mike has 3 kids. He's going to lay down with your daughter? And I said, no, I'm actually going to sit at my desk. I feel pretty good. I'm going to get to work. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, Harmony's going to be sleeping by the time I get home. It'll be 8:30, 9 o'clock. I still feel like I have energy. I got a lot to do. I'm going to sit down and work. And there are some times where I sit down at 8:30, 9 o'clock and I work until 4 or 5 in the morning. The phone's not ringing. It's quiet. I feel good. I turn on lights, obviously, so I'm stimulated. And then 4 or 5 o'clock comes around, or 3, 4 o'clock, whatever time it is. And I'll actually get on. This is our zero gravity recliner. This is our newest.
That looks, I saw that behind you. I saw that. That looks awesome.
So sometimes I'll just climb into that. I'll put myself up into zero gravity, which is a really powerful position. It rejuvenates and takes pressure off the ankles, hips, and spine. And I'll do an hour on the zero G, or I'll go out and I'll get underneath my sound lounge with the Red Light 720. I'm very fortunate that I have these tools here, and I secretly, I publicly push forward this initiative of what we do here at InHarmony, because I use my technology. I try and use it every single day.
Yeah,
that Sonos speaker plays our frequency streaming through YouTube every single day, and I truly believe in the power of sound and vibration to help rejuvenate and restore the body. So there's no reason why you can't work a night shift. There's no reason why you can't put in an extra 6 hours of work and get caught up on sleep, to your question, by inducing a theta brainwave state through InHarmony technology and resting and restoring. Now, I do recommend our lay down devices versus our cushion. This is our cushion, and our cushion is great. But for restoration and rejuvenation, I do recommend our lay down units. You'll just relax that much deeper.
That was going to be my question, because I travel. Like I'm leaving in 2 weeks or a week or so to travel out west. I have a Sprinter van. I stop at different casinos, different cities, and play on my way out to Vegas for the World Series of Poker. And then
amazing. I got a few friends that are sitting there, and we've got a lot of clients that are poker players, actually.
Really?
So,
that's good
absolutely.
to know.
Look,
I would like to
a lot of brain capacity.
Yeah.
I'll happily introduce you to Dave and Robert. Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to be able to pick their brains about what their routines are, because it's a stressful, full of anxiety environment, and to come down from that, especially when you've made a deep run in a poker tournament, you're all jacked up and it's 2 a.m. and you're like, I need to sleep, and I don't have my sound lounge on the road. I was going to ask,
why not?
I'm in a Sprinter van, and my space is super limited, and I was wondering.
That sound lounge folds in half, and it will absolutely fit on top of your bed.
It will fit. So you think just put it? Do you sleep on it? I fall asleep sometimes when I'm doing. Obviously,
I have absolutely slept on it. Now, your Sprinter van, you've got a full size or a queen size bed in the back?
It's it's one of those. It's one of those things that you can make it a single, and it spreads out to like what do you call them? Not a double, but just a regular size bed.
So look, while you're traveling and it's a single, put that sound lounge on it. It's 74 inches long. It's 31 inches wide. It's about the size of a twin mattress.
Right.
And you can absolutely have that laying down on your bed. If you haven't tried to put it in there yet, it does not have to be on the base. Again, you bought this in 2022, so you've got the original sound lounge.
Right.
It does not have to be on the base that it came with. You can put it on the floor. You can put it on your bed. It does fold in half. It comes clamshelled in half. So if you still have the strap that goes around it, you just strap it down and you put it somewhere in the Sprinter van, and you put it on the floor. If you want to sleep in your bed and enjoy it, you just fold it in half and you put it on the floor. And Sprinter vans are tight, I get that, but you could put it on the kitchen table, or you could put it in your front seat, while you're laying down in the back and just moving around. I would tell you that if you're coming out here for the poker tournament, and that's a pretty important tool for you to have as an asset.
It is. I've been debating on how. Well, I was hoping you were going to give me a great alternative.
I move that.
It is big.
I move that thing. I take it with me when I travel by car. I almost always have a practitioner with me, practitioner 2. And if I'm going someplace where I know I'm going to be in one place for a while, I'll take that. I definitely take that sound lounge, and I'll set it up in the corner of an Airbnb.
I'm going to try to figure it out.
I'll bring it into my hotel room. I absolutely, I don't know if you're staying in the van, it's hot, but if you're like, at an RV park here in the van, or if you're in a parking lot stealth camping, I would absolutely bring that with you 100%.
Yeah. I do a little bit of both, but I'm gonna definitely try it.
I've done it all. I lived full time in a motorhome for 2 years.
Oh, really?
26 months traveling the country, building this business, teaching people about the power of sound and vibration all over the country. And I had a sound lounge and a practitioner in my RV, and I would fire up that generator and right. I didn't have an inverter. My new RV has an inverter, but my old RV did not have an inverter. But I'd fire up the generator. Huh?
Yeah, I just upgraded my. I had a Sprinter Revel, and I just upgraded to like luxurious. It's glamping now, so nice. I'm definitely gonna make this work. So
you should absolutely do that. We have 850 affiliates around the world. I'm very blessed to have over 10,000 app users. And we've got folks that live van life full-time, RV life full-time, that are digital nomads that travel with our technology. We've got folks that do trade shows and conferences and farmers markets and run our technology off solar generators and solar panels and actual gas generators as well. I take my sound lounge with me to Burning Man every year. I've been gone. My next will be my 11th.
Oh, wow.
And
It's always been a bucket list thing for me. I've never done it. So
let's go, man. Let's go van life. Let's do it.
I think I need to do it this year.
You know what? I'll be there. I'm bringing my daughter actually. And I've got a little side-by-side that I'm going to have out there. And I will absolutely have a sound lounge. 100%. It is the single.
If I make it out there, we'll connect.
Let's do it.
Well, I really, I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time, and you've really answered more than I expected. And I really wanted to dive into the research, but I'm going to have to.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, I'm going to look at that, and I know I'm going to have a ton of questions because I'm super analytical when it comes to these things. I'd love to hook up again sometime and talk about some of the research and some maybe. Oh, one quick thing that I did want to dive in. We talked when I originally bought this. I bought it with the things you put on your eyes. The
brain tap.
Yeah, brain tap. And I've lost the music that goes with the flashing, and I don't know how to get it back because you guys, when I purchased it, it was a package deal, and I got all that stuff together, and now I don't have it. And so I've let that go a little bit, and I want to get back to using it because when I used it, I really enjoyed it.
It's a powerful partnership. So the company's called BrainTap. They've been around for 20 plus years. I love Dr. Patrick Porter, Sean Bean, their entire team, Cynthia Porter. They are all Michael Porter, Patrick's brother, who heads up their science and research team. Really, really powerful technology when you merge the two of them together. So the way the BrainTap headset works is there are flashing lights over the eyes, and you basically put on the mask and you bring the visor over your eyes. When you turn on the headset, this one is not the one that I use on a regular basis, so it's not charged, but when you use the BrainTap, you've got flashing lights over the light visor, and then you have lights on the ears for auricular therapy, and these lights on your ears are actually flashing, but to the human eye, they look solid. The lights over your eyes are flashing much slower, and we can perceive that that timestamp, that we become entrained to the pace, and it's very, very, very good at keeping your brain in and holding it in a particular brainwave state. There are 7 different audio and visual cues that are built into the music. So InHarmony Media has our record label and our music meditations. As of right now, I think we're at 253 music meditations in the InHarmony Music Meditations app.
Wow, that's a lot.
BrainTap has over 2,000 programs in their app. Okay.
Holy cow.
204 of those, so 10% of their app is InHarmony Music.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So in order to activate the partnership between BrainTap and InHarmony, I needed to send that music to BrainTap. And Dr. Patrick Porter encoded their 7 audio and visual cues into our music. Now, when you first purchased your product, we were selling it as the Cocoon experience, and we were selling BrainTaps on our website. And you made one checkout on my website, and we sent you a BrainTap headset. Right. And at the time, I was pretty adamant that the music that we create needs to be in the InHarmony app. And they had never done that before. Any music that they have encoded was proprietary information for them and their music. And I got to tell you, Patrick was great, but his team at the time was constantly putting pressure on me to not have their music in our app. It was a regular conversation since the first day that we started. I said, hey, I'm only doing this if the music's available in our app. And they said, we don't do that. But I wanted the partnership so bad that I kept pressing for it. And eventually they wanted our music so bad that they said, okay, fine. Over the first year and a half that we were working together, the music meditations that controlled and activated the BrainTap headset were in both apps, our app and their app, which is why you didn't know anything about their app.
Right.
The downside to that, and one of the reasons why there were a few different reasons why we ultimately changed. A lot of pressure from BrainTap, but also because none of my clients, none of the InHarmony clients knew anything about BrainTap other than it comes with the InHarmony device. Right. They weren't exploring their app. They were missing out on the 90% of other streams of consciousness that come through. And there's a ton of guided meditations. The BrainTap app is brilliant.
Okay.
And they have invested a lot of money in their app.
One thing I noticed when I was using it, because I really I made a journal for about it was only like 30 days, small sample size, but I wasn't getting into that. When I used the BrainTap, I was so stimulated that I wasn't as relaxed and didn't get into that. I don't even know how to measure theta, but what I consider theta, I couldn't do it as well unless I just did the InHarmony by itself.
So here's the thing with that. First of all, that's your perception of what was happening, not what was actually happening. Okay. That's a conscious perception of what was happening, not what was actually happening.
Makes sense.
And unfortunately, and please don't take this the wrong way, for many of us, myself included, our nervous system is so dysregulated that and dysregulated just means confused, that it doesn't know what it's doing or why it's doing it or where it's going, that it takes time to re-regulate the nervous system. And to allow you to, and I don't know if 30 days is enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's why I said that. Small sample size, I do realize that, but I got some of us
comfortable. We spent, look, I'm in my 47th year of life. I got access to this technology when I was 37. That's 37 years of dysregulating my nervous system, and now I've had 10 years to re-regulate it. Right. So what takes decades in some cases to ravel can take time to unravel, sometimes more than 30 days, but usually not more than a year, right? So dedicating yourself to regular use and creating a routine will help to re-regulate your nervous system, and BrainTap is no different. Okay. So if you want access to the InHarmony music, about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I finally stopped pushing a rock up a hill and I said, fine guys, we will remove the music because I wanted to release more music. And their CEO at the time basically said, yeah, if you want to do more music, you got to take our music out of your app. Oh, wow. And I knew the value we were having, and I wanted to expand the library, and I wanted to go past the 10 music meditations and 3 durations and 5 brainwave states that we had. And I wanted to release new music. And they basically said, remove it or we're not doing any more music. So I made the tough decision. That was difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We removed a lot of music meditations out of about 150 out of our app. We're back up to 252, something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
we continue to release new music meditation just about every single week. We are up to 204 music meditations. So we released an additional 54 music meditations in the BrainTap app. And we're going to continue to release more music. We're one of the most played artists in the BrainTap app. Something I'm very proud of and excited about. And we will release more music with BrainTap. We will expand that library. But to answer your question, to get those music meditations back and to get that combined experience, you do need the BrainTap app. InHarmony no longer sells the BrainTap on our website. Instead, we refer people to BrainTap to make their purchase, and we've got a partner link on our website that we do that with.
Is the version that I have of that BrainTap still?
Oh yeah.
Would you still consider
absolutely
it up to date?
Powerful medicine. And again, what most people don't realize is that half of the cues are actually audio cues, not visual cues. So you can get a lot of benefit by just listening to the BrainTap app. And it's also a fantastic tool. The InHarmony Music Meditations app is a phenomenal tool as you're traveling.
Yeah,
and all you got to do is open up our app. Each one of these tiles is different music meditation. You can play that through AirPods, headphones. I would tell you, putting on a pair of headphones while you're playing poker and putting on our music meditations will help you to stay calm, relaxed, focused, driven.
I have not tried that. I'm gonna give that a shot. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm trying to be more present when I'm playing. I'm not using my headphones and not using my phone.
Well, you know what? Even headphones with transparency mode on, I'll tell you a little hack for me. When I travel through the airport, I download my music meditations in the InHarmony app. I put on AirPods with transparency mode. So I can still hear everything about what's going on around me. I can still hear conversations. I can still talk with somebody if they want my attention. But behind all of that, and the undertones of all of that, is InHarmony Music Meditations. It's Calm and Relaxed World. It is a travel hack, and I love it.
I'm gonna give it a shot. Well, Craig, again, I don't want to take much more of your time. I truly appreciate what you're doing and spending time with me and my followers. It's just
so grateful.
I mean, it's just so cool to have a person like you doing what you're doing and killing it. And I wish you nothing but the best. And anything I can do, which probably not much, I'm more than happy to help out whenever I can.
You're supporting our brand and you're helping us to push forward the science, the energy, and sharing and talking about it. And that's all I can ask. I'll tell you what you can do. Take that Sound Lounge with you to the World Series. Take number 1 and just give me a little head nod and a little, hey, it's thanks to Craig and the Sound Lounge.
Absolutely.
You got yourself there, but give me a little head nod on the grandstand. That'd be awesome.
I sure will. Well, when I make the final table, I'll call you up and maybe we'll get like an InHarmony patch to wear.
I'm here in Vegas. I'll come down.
Oh, you're in Vegas.
I mean, I'd love to. Yeah, I'm here in Vegas. I'd love to come say hi and please look me up while you're here. Absolutely.
I will definitely do that. Maybe we'll catch dinner or something. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Craig. Again, Craig Goldberg, InHarmony products. Go get it. They're amazing, amazing person. And again, much appreciated. And take care. And let's do this again soon.
Yes, please. Thank you, Alan. Have a great day.
All right, Craig. You too. Thanks very much.